Now, even if a budget is finally approved, community leaders say they're still concerned that students on the Central Coast will lose out. So today they held a bake sale to raise money and awareness. KCOY CBS 12's Allison Reeder joins us live now from our San Luis Obispo Bureau with more on this. Allison?
Arturo, organizers say they held the bake sale to make a point. California kids should come first, but they say the budget stalemate is only making them suffer. The group of parents, teachers, and community leaders hosted the bake sale in front of the San Luis Obispo County Courthouse this afternoon to protest the impasse. They sold brownies and cake to raise money for local schools and vital programs that are in limbo and could face drastic cuts. The group is calling for the governor and legislators to pass a compromise budget that includes new revenues and protects funding. One of their biggest concerns, categorical funding that includes programs like special education, class size reduction, and the arts.
In the state constitution, it says that the #1 thing that the state should do is take care of public education. So for me, being here today, it's all about selling this stuff and making a point for the children.
School districts need money to operate, and the money that they get to operate comes from the state of California, and the state of California has not passed a budget, so we're not getting our bills paid.
Many of the folks at today's bake sale say they're skeptical of the tentative budget plan that's being reviewed tonight. They've been told it includes a $1.2 billion cut minimum to public education, but they don't know what programs would be on the chopping block. Now, if that compromise plan is not passed, however, and the budget stalemate continues, we're told the future looks grim. The county PTA president we spoke with says districts should be able to make ends meet through October, but in November, some schools might have to close. In the San Luis Obispo Bureau, Allison Reeder, KCOY, CBS 12.
All right, let's hope that does not happen. Thank you, Allison. The governor's revision back in May included more than $4 billion in cuts to education. Under that plan, organizers of today's bake sale say San Luis Obispo County's public schools would lose more than $500 per student.
Now, some San Luis Obispo residents came up with a creative way to turn up the heat on state lawmakers over the budget crisis. They held a bake sale rally. Key Senior reporter John Palmentary was at the event today, and he says it had more to do with symbolism than anything else. And John joins us now from Santa Barbara with the story. John.
And we certainly have all purchased something at a bake sale, cookies or brownies or what have you, even lemonade. And lots of times it goes for clubs or for sports teams. Well, in this case, the residents we spoke to in San Luis Obispo, in downtown, were hoping to sell 1 million cookies to help the state budget crisis.
Those homemade? They sure are. I made them. Okay. Whoa. For you.
I know they are.
Okay, how much do I owe you? $3?
Using a table full of sweets, San Luis Obispo educators and others upset at the state budget crisis hope to get more than a bad taste of California's money problems from Sacramento.
How do we get this graphically across to the public? Because they're going to think that we can just fix this with a bake sale. And
There's $12 billion in bills that will not be paid in September. That's billion with a B.
One PTA president said budget problems each year badly hurt teachers and students. She called for a multi-year master plan.
They don't, then again, we're going to have the same conversation. Well, what do you think about raising taxes to fix this?
This letter from the San Luis Obispo County Office of Education said because of budget problems earlier this year, 70 layoff notices had to be issued, class sizes were increased, and plans for new developments have all been delayed until a final state budget is approved.
It's important for all the services that we have because our lives don't run on nothing.
Also worried about cuts, the San Luis Obispo Deputy Sheriff's Association.
We've got to be able to respond to the 911, but the quality of life crimes and programs such as our SRO, School Resource Program, rural crimes, would be dramatically impacted.
They all agreed it was not an easy equation, but said the taxpayers deserve a budget now. And many of those at the rally tell us they have been pressuring their local legislators for weeks to try and adopt a budget that doesn't make cuts in public service or education. And as we all know, that's very difficult. But it looks like we may be seeing some of those actions later on tonight. We'll certainly see where those blue pencils hit the budget paper. Live on TV Hill this evening, I'm John Palmentary, sending it back into the studio.
All right, John, thank you. Budget problems at the state capitol are causing major concerns here at home. San Luis Obispo County educators, leaders, and parents held a budget bake sale on the courthouse steps in San Luis Obispo earlier today. It is to support local schools which have started the school year without a budget, which means they don't really know how much money they will receive from the state.
We know that we need to fund schools in San Luis Obispo County. We need $325 million. So we figured we'd just bake 325 million brownies. Countywide PTA.
The County Office of Education says the budget delay puts at least 35,000 students at risk. Transportation and programs to help low-income students and English learners have been hit the hardest.